Let's start the third lecture of DBMS data modeling and ER model. First, discuss the main phases of the database design. We see the mini world before we design overall the database. We first create the data modeling, the conceptual schema. We create the conceptual schema, the high level data model. Means big picture. We create the big picture. What will be stored in our database? These all our parts. These above all parts are the DBMS independent parts. When we come to a point to discuss about the DBMS specific, we now create the data model mappings. Let's say logical schema. We create the logical schema. Let's say how one table related to another table, how one relation, how one table related to another. What are the relations? What are different attributes? What are the constraints we are applying on that attributes, etc. After that, after defining table attributes constraints, we came to a point to discuss about the physical design or design the physically what's our what will be stored in our database. Let's say the we design the physical schema, which is totally dependent on the DBMS, how much bytes we are allocating for each data types, etc. Means storage related things. uh, these all below parts are DBMS specifics. So these are the phases we break down before designing any database. Next, let's discuss today about the ER model or entity relationship model. See, ER model is nothing but high-level conceptual data model used to design the database. This is overall high-level big picture, uh, like what will be stored in our database. Okay. Next, if we talk about the entity, what is entity? Entity, we call entity as an object or the concepts that can be uniquely identified, and about that entity we store the data in the database. Let's say entity means we are saying let's say this. So this is employee table, and the employee is the entity of this table. This employee is entity. Here department is entity. Here depart locations is entity. Here project is entity. Here is works on entity, and here is dependent on the entity. See, entities can be of two types. One is the strong entity and another is the weak entity. What is a strong entity? See, strong entity means which exists independently. Means that entity or that table is not dependent on the other, and it has own primary key. If we talk about the weak entity, it totally depends on some other entities. So we call these are dependent on some other tables to retrieve for retrieval of their data. This does not have full primary key. They use the partial key, or we call as the foreign key, which somehow reference the actual or the main strong entity. Let's say here if we talk about what is the strong entity. See, here implies a strong entity. Why? These exist independently. Here is SSN is a primary key, which is uniquely identify this employee table. Similarly, here department number identify department entity uniquely. Similarly, here project number identify the project entity uniquely. But if we talk about the dependence, see the ESSN, what this shows, this is the employee SSN, means this is the foreign key which will point to this SSN. So these dependent entity is somehow dependent on the employee table. Similarly for dependent names, so this is one of the weak entities, employee, department, and the project is one of the strong entities. If we talk about the attributes, what are attributes? See, if we talk about attributes, so let's say if see this is an employee, this is an employee entity, so it contain first name, middle name, last name, SSN, birth date, address, sex, salary, super SSN, and department number. These all are nothing but the attributes. Okay. Next, if we discuss about the type of attributes, these can be simplified as overall five types, like simple or atomic attributes, means which cannot be divided further. Let's say example is age or gender, male, female, and what is your age. This is simple attributes, we can't divide it further. Another is the composite attributes, like which can be split into sub attributes or sub parts. Let's say example, if we talk about the example, so if we talk about example, let's say uh, while storing any address contain many subparts, like which is street, which city, which state, which country, what is the pin code of that locations. So this can be subdivided into multiple parts. That is the composite attributes. Another is a single valued attributes that has only one value for each entity, means which is unique value, you can say, like for example roll number. Another is a multi-valued attributes, means which can have multiple values. Let's say example phone number. One person can't it may exist. One person may have many phone numbers. One person may have many skills. So these are considered under multi-valued attributes. Means one value does not exist for these attributes. There are multiple values exist for these attributes. If we talk about the derived attributes, see, derived attributes are those attributes which can be calculated from some other attribute. Let's say example, we are storing date of birth uh, as attributes in our some in some table or some entity. So from date of birth year part, we can derive what is the age of the person. So age is the derived attributes. So these are the whole of the five attributes: the simple, composite, single valued, multi-valued, and derived attribute. Let's see if we distinguish about entity, relationship, and attributes. See here, producer is the entity, like producer table, which has three columns, like product, what is the product type, that is one of the attributes, what is the product value, that is another attributes, and what are the location of the producer table. Further, producer have relation with the consumer. Of what relation? Relation of transaction. Like producers and consumer have a relation of transaction. They pay uh, one another and exchange their goods. Similarly, here consumer table, which have columns like average spend, what are gender, what is age. See there, so this is entity, this is relationship, and this is attributes. If we discuss about some notations we generally used while describing about ER, entity, relationship, model, schema. So for denoting the entity type, we use a rectangle. For denoting the weak entity type, we um, use the rectangle but double border line. Similarly, for relationship type, we use this, and yeah, this is for the weak relationship type. For denoting that these are the weak relations, not strong relations, we use this symbol. Yeah, for denoting any attributes, we use the oval symbol. For key attributes, oval symbol and have underline in it. Underline in it. Yes, underline it. Similarly, for multi-valued attributes, we do uh, yeah, two circles. Similarly, for composite attributes, means one attribute have many values. So one value is this, another value is this, another value is this. And for the derived attributes, we draw oval in a dotted way pattern. We draw oval in a dotted way patterns. Similarly, if we want to show like some entity have total participation in any relations, so let's say, so for denoting total participation we use double line like E2 has total participation in the relation this with the E1. Similarly, for the cardinality ratio, like 1 is to n, E is to 1 in the n, we simply denote like E1 and E2 are related uh, due to the relation R. So these are related in 1 is to 1 ratio. Like one part of E1 is related to n part of E2. Similarly, cardinality ratio, and these for total participation we use double line. For structural constraints, we use min max on the participation of E in the R, like what is the minimum and what is the maximum. So next, let's discuss about the constraint on the relationships. Like these are of this subdivided into three parts. Like first part is the maximum cardinality. See, this we show by placing appropriate symbols number on the link. Let's say here we shown one part of E1 is related to n part of E2. So relation can be 1 is to 1, like one part of E1 is related to one part of E2. It can be 1 is to n. Relation can be n is to 1. Relation can be many to many. So these can be many relation exist, and we denote by placing numbers on these lines. Okay, next if we discuss about the minimum cardinality, we show this by double lining the link. Like this is also called the participation constraints or existence dependency constraints. Like this specifies the minimum number of the entity instance that must participate in a relationships. Like you can say this, minimum cardinality. Like total participation. For total participation, we draw double line here. The participation can be of zero, means optional participation, means that is not existence dependent, man, that exists independently. So they does not. So for them, partition is optional. But there is some dependent entities which have to participate with some other entities. So it includes mandatory participations. They have to participate with other entities for the retrieval of the data. Another third part is the recursive relationships. Means the entity which relate to itself. Like let's say if we talk about the employee, let's say one minute. See, let's say in employee table, let's say this is employee table. So one employee can be a manager and one employee can be an employee. Okay, that can exist. That can exist. So employee table may have relation with the employee table itself. That is a recursive relationships. We can also call this as unary relationships. Like entity participates in the relationship more than once for the different roles. Like one employee is intern, one employee is full-time employee, one employee is a chef. Different exists. Categories exist. Like employee manage employees, course has prerequisite courses, etc. These are the constraints while defining the relationships. Further, if we talk about one of the example of how we draw the ER diagram of the database schema. Let's say this is the example of the bank database schema. So let's say, see, here is a bank identity. We use the uh, yeah, we use the rectangle to denote the bank because this is a entity and it have attribute. There is a code and you can see the underline which simply simplifies that it is code is the key attributes, primary key. Another attribute is name, another is address, and you can see bank have total participation with the branches, and branches have yeah, total participation with the bank branches, and you can also see the cardinality ratio, like one branch has n bank branches. Further, we will talk about the bank branches. So you can see double line over the rectangle, which what this implies the weak entities, means bank branch is somehow dependent on the bank entity. Further, if we describe, the bank branch has some address, this have branch number which is uniquely identified. Further, bank branch has 1:2 and participation for accounts. Okay, and all accounts has total participation with the accounts. So for any accounts have account number, their balance, what are their types, is the bank account is of saving types or normal type, different depending on the situation. Further, this is the account code something, and these are related to customers, and each customer have some phone number, some unique identified number, name, address. See, there one more scenario exists, like bank branch has loan relationships, 1:n loan relationships. So loan entities have loan number which is uniquely identified, amounts, types which is total participation with the loan code, and which is also related to the customer. So this is overall view how we draw the ER diagrams while defining database schema. But here is one problem with the ER notations. See, it does not support for specialization and generalization abstractions. For this, we use the extended ER models, which help us uh, for specializations, generalization abstractions, hierarchies, and enabling more accurate representation of the real world scenarios.